Oh.
We're live.
That turns
Good
around.
morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. We're
Welcome to the AM Wake Up.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
And I'm ready to fly
time to get ready.
for another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play.
Oh, every day
We learn and play.
we do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best.
And I don't mind,
Right. So let's get ready. 'Cause it's about that time. Good morning, you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning,
your best to play. So start today,
open your eyes.
reach for the sky.
Morning to you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning to you.
hey.
Good morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
What's happening? Good morning, everybody. It is rolling out in the AM, and we are here. I'm joined by Romeo International, the first lady of the Rolling Out AM cast in the city.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning,
Good morning.
everybody. What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
Man, it's a beautiful day. The three of us are here. The rest of the team is coming. And it's vote day. So I'm excited.
Definitely. Primary elections going on in 5 different states. Obviously, we're here in Georgia, North Dakota, Nevada, South Carolina, West Virginia. And I think that's it. South Carolina, North Dakota, Nevada, West Virginia, and Georgia. So make sure you guys go out, vote today. It's crazy times with COVID-19 and everything, but make sure you protect yourself. You can get out and vote today. It's a very, very important election. I voted early, so I'm not worried about that, but definitely make sure you get out and vote today. It's a very critical
Yeah.
time in our country.
Make sure you heard that from Cassidy. Great job, Cassidy. Could have made that a song, you know. Nevada, Virginia, Georgia. Go vote.
Oh man, I just pray and hope that people, as much as y'all turned out to protest, I need that same group of people to turn out at a poll. That's all I need to see. I'll be very happy if I see that.
Now the polls are tight. This morning there are at least 300 people at my poll this morning at 7 a.m. They have
Yeah.
lawn chairs, folding chairs. The community is motivated. The community is
agree.
out. Definitely after this, we got to register more people. But I think they've ignited a spark. The protests continue. We've had great rolling out news segments. You guys have brought in great people. So it's a movement, you know.
And I love the fact that Rolling Out has always been for the community. That is one thing Rolling Out has always been for the community, whether it's health, whether it's better business. And this right here is voting. So please, if you got to wake your mama up, if you got to shrug your cousin, whoever you got to do, shake them, everybody get in the car, get to the polls.
Yeah, the polls are critical for what we're doing right now in order to move. You know, you see how important, you know, all of a sudden Ferguson gets their first female mayor, and they were a majority Black city. So voting actually makes a difference and can actually create the change that many of us want. And that's from police down. So if you don't pick the mayor, you don't pick the district attorney, the judges, everything that impacts us. Say it again, Cash.
Senators.
Mm-hmm. Got a couple of people, and they need to hear and understand that we understand that, you know, we got the power.
That's right.
Right now,
We got
that's
the
very
power.
important. That's very important. And I also noticed that this is how you know it's important when you're driving in your neighborhood and somebody has 50 signs in their yard. Like just you get to the corner and there's 50 sheriff signs in the yard, and you're like, okay, so it's definitely community based. Because I tell people all the time, if anything, your vote is very important for your community, your sheriff, your elected officials, and it's more than just a president. It's more than just the presidency. It's about making your community better and making it a better living for yourself. So go for it.
Absolutely.
Cassie, absolutely. All right, absolutely. It's happening over there. I think the other thing is it continues to go strong. Everybody is in the paint, in the streets. Hello, this is Rolling Out AM. Hello to everybody on Facebook, everybody on Twitter. Let us know your questions, how you feel about voting. We want to know. We want to hear your voices too. We don't want to just talk to ourselves. We love you. Your perspective is important. So please make some comments. Let us know what's going on out there on Twitter, on YouTube, because this is a big day. Hope it's a big day for you. So share with us. We appreciate you tuning in to Rolling Out AM, the wake up call.
Barbara Fields checking in from the 229. She says, your vote is your voice. Seriously, go vote. Robert Ransom is checking in. Stacy Mack is checking in. Lucky Charms is checking in. And everybody is everybody is doing Lucky Charms. But everybody is definitely pro movement. I got a question for you though, Mr. Steve. How come? Oh, good morning to Tyreek Brooks as well. How come voting has been such a 50-50? Should I do it or should I not do it? What began that disparity of my vote doesn't count?
Fake news. I mean, I literally you hear people and it's even now people are doing it without doing it. You have high paid intellectuals in our community who are creating the doubt on whether you should support. There are two candidates that'll be running for president, talking about not voting or getting something. It's a bad conversation. Not that we want somebody to take us for granted. I think the other thing is just values. As a community, we've got to go back to the values that are gonna keep us from get our oppressor's foot off our neck. I mean, that's it. I think it's discussion. I think we talk about it, posting with purpose. I mean, we really have celebrated righteousness more than we've celebrated voting. So when you have principles, and it really has to become a principle. It's you can't sit back and say, oh, I protest and then I choose not to show up at the election day. So I think there might be, as hip hop gets more mature, and you see a Snoop come back around saying, well, I was a felon, but it's a cultural discussion, and I like to see the young lens. There's a beautiful lens. I think you keeping the conversation going, but I think you've got to have stronger dialogue and begin to reduce the trash. We got a lot of trash, and that people are offering. What do you say, Cass?
Well, I think something that's really important to highlight is in this time where we've been quarantined during the coronavirus, a lot of the delegation and responsibility has been shifted to our state leadership. So we've seen our president give authority to our governors and to our mayors to decide about these quarantine time periods, how long people will remain in quarantine when they'll reopen. So this election right now is not gubernatorial or mayoral, but it's still very important to get out for those elections and these elections, which, like we've mentioned, will be the local people in office for sheriffs, senators, and things like that, which still impact you because all of those people have a say in what happens in your area where you live. So it's extremely important right now. If you've never voted before and you're like Snoop Dogg, there's no better time than right now to get out and vote. If you haven't registered to vote, I know in Georgia you can't register the same day. I'm not sure about other states, but make sure this sparks your interest to go and register to vote today. Or get out and register so that the next time we have an election, you can let your voice be heard. So don't
And
let
it's
this
coming
day
up.
pass.
Yeah, good points. I mean, those local sheriffs decide much of who's going to get picked up, who's going to actually be locked up, who's going to get a bed. And, whether you get a pass or whether you get compassionate, real community policing, it counts. So great points. But I don't think it's just me, Romeo. I think your generation has done a phenomenal job in this entire movement right now. I mean, for many people, they're like, oh, what are they doing? At first it was like, oh, what are they doing? I mean, they were like surprised and shocked. And, you saw Trina go in and like say something negative about people and then get canceled. Like, we're not going to be critical of our community in a moment that we understand the oppressor is oppressing us. Yeah. So why are you sitting there disparaging your brothers and sisters? I mean, a lot of people had to come off their purchase to get with the fact that there was a movement and you just didn't see it.
Right. And that cancel button coming quick these days. This is a quick cancel button. But going back to one of Cassidy's points, I don't know if you remember, Cassidy, but I had to think about when did voting impact me, and I remember the first two reasons that stood out. One was when everybody was doing the rock the vote. I was like, "Oh, I want the shirt." I was like, "Oh," that made me want to vote. And then the first election of Barack Obama, I think those were the two only exciting times where I wanted to get out there and hold my sign. So what about for you?
I agree. It was the same for me. And I think that's just because of our age. And, those are the elections close to when we would be able to vote. So I agree 100. I remember when Obama was elected and how exciting that was. And then I remember going out to vote for the first time and how exciting that was. So definitely I agree with you on that.
You got pictures of that, Cass, when your first day voting, Romeo?
Ooh.
You know what?
Y'all gotta go
might be on Facebook. They might. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all
gotta
go
back and find that.
So y'all can share them with us. That'd be like a really fun day.
Throwback.
Really.
Yeah, but definitely for people.
First King James, how are you?
King James.
What's happening?
What's going on, man?
So who was your first vote for, Cassie?
Who was my first vote for? I first voted, who year was that? I believe definitely was for Obama. I was old enough to vote for Obama at the time. I definitely voted for him. So yeah, that was my first vote. I was trying to think of what age I was.
Hello, Carrie.
But yeah. But definitely for people who are going out today, if you want to share your pictures at the polls, we'd love to see them with your voting sticker, like I voted. That would be really great.
Hashtag at rolling out, I voted, and I will make sure that gets posted.
Morning.
Carrie,
how's everybody?
Good. How are you?
Carrie's in the house today.
How are you, Carrie?
Flow is on the way. Bringing peace and purpose to everybody you see.
I love it.
All set in my stage.
The yoga remix.
Best you can be. It flow. Yeah. Can it flow?
Carrie, come in glowing. Good morning.
You're on mute.
I believe you're on mute.
Oh, I was on mute. Okay. I was trying to join along in the singing.
And yeah.
I'm just kidding. My mother would be embarrassed.
Do you remember the first time you voted?
You know what? That's funny. I was thinking about that when you all were talking about it because I recently posted about this on my Instagram. The first person I ever voted for, guys, was Kwame Kilpatrick.
Woo.
Okay.
In the D. What
In the
up?
D.
Yo?
That was my very first time going to the ballot. I met him at the auto show and he encouraged all of us to vote. And we were like, the mayor, you're gonna be the mayor? Like, you're so young, you're so cool. We were actually really excited. I was really excited to turn 18 so I could vote for Kwame. I was like,
Yes.
make a change for Detroit.
Well, shout out to
Telling you.
Kwame Kilpatrick. His birthday was yesterday, so
Oh wow, happy belated Kwame.
happy belated
Yes.
birthday from Rolling Out AM, and for all the political prisoners that are here in the country. We want to say that we are not perfect, but we are punished more severely than any other group. And
Yes.
our young brothers go well beyond their time incarcerated, in prison, brutally beat and murdered. So, let's not be judgmental. Let's all
Right.
pray that our people can come home. They're in prisons that are filled with the coronavirus. Some are getting out early, but we really need to not be judgmental and really push for our young brothers and sisters to come home from prison and not be held, particularly if it's nonviolent. Let our people go.
Yes, I think it was like 28 years, which is excessive. And so that makes me think of a meditation I want to share with you all today, actually a Black Lives Matter meditation that was created by Dr. Candace Nicole. And it basically was to help people cope with the tiring cycle of oppression. It's so tiring that it starts to weigh on your spirit to think about all these injustices, whether we're thinking about the criminal justice system or we're thinking about this pandemic or we're thinking about health disparities or whatever. This Black Lives Matter meditation is phenomenal. So I highly encourage everybody to check this out from a wonderful professor at the University of Kentucky, Dr. Candace Nicole. It's amazing.
Okay. Well, shout out and
Yes.
hopefully we get justice for Breonna Taylor, who was in Kentucky. So that's appropriate as well, because there's been no justice in her case. The police officer's still free. It's a tough time.
It really is.
We need a little peace and purpose in our life.
Yes, we do. So I'll share with you a piece of that Black Lives Matter meditation, which is a mantra. So a mantra is very similar to an affirmation and something that you repeat to yourself to basically gear your mind towards the positive. It's like, I don't know, tricking yourself into something. Once you start to believe it, it can start to manifest. And it just makes you feel better, good for the soul. So 3 of those things that were said in the Black Lives Matter meditation: I am safe, I'm strong, I'm loved. And these are things sometimes we might forget or struggle with in the midst of the fight. So as we meditate today, we'll consider that mantra. So are you all ready? We'll just take a moment here today. Go ahead, take a deep breath in. Let it out through the mouth. Now, I only heard myself breathe. Let me see if I can hear Romeo and Cass breathe. Once and I know you've been practicing your breathing. Let me see if I can hear you breathe today. Take a deep breath in, fill up both lungs. Fill up your chest, fill up your throat, breathe in. Open your mouth, let it out. That's good, that's good.
I was doing the mummy breathing, like in the Mummy.
You want to feel your breath. You want to be in tune with that as you are meditating. So let's go ahead and close our eyes for a moment. And today, let's place your right hand on your heart and your left hand right by your navel or underneath your navel. And we're going to speak this mantra into our heart, to our spirit, with your eyes and lips closed, breathing deeply and evenly through your nose. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in through the nose as the belly and chest fill with this life-giving breath. And as you exhale, release it all. And repeat silently to yourself, I am safe. I am strong. And I am loved. And now this second round, as we repeat the mantra, notice the sensation. Notice how the space around your heart feels. I am safe. I am strong. I am loved. And let's just sit with that for a moment. And slowly start to open the eyes. And I just want all of you to know that we all are safe and strong and loved. So let's try to keep some positivity and peace within us, even during these times, to stay strong mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, thank you all.
Add that to my mantra, because
Yeah, I like that.
My other mantra in the morning was I'm great, and then I just get the day started.
Well, I think for all of us that are out there, the brothers and sisters that are in the movement, thank you so much, Carrie, for giving us references, because with us and the whole idea of having someone to shepherd peace into our lives at this particular chaotic moment. So thank you so much. But hopefully you write it down, text it to friends, and post it. So let us not just hear it. Let it not just be a feel good, which is like a drug. Let it be a spiritual principle that you add so that you have the mantra throughout the day. Let not this moment with us just be a moment that you do it and then you don't do it, but take the time during the day to counsel your spirit and to integrate moments of I am safe, I am
Strong.
strong, and I am
Loved.
So even find individuals to be able to say, I am safe, I am strong, I am loved in your life, and send that as a text so that others can share the mantra and you can create a spiritual movement moment in this time. So thanks so much, Carrie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you all for having me here today. Always love to come and spread some peace and prosperity on Rolling Out.
Nah, we always
Enjoy
bring
having you.
insight. I'm missing the sister you brought before.
On Diane Bondi. Yes, guys, please go follow Diane Bondi. She is a powerhouse and has a ton of resources. So definitely go check her out on Instagram at the Diane Bondi Yoga Official. So check her out.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that's right, actually, because she just got a new name. Diane Bondi Yoga Official. Yes, that's it.
She got a new name. She's a big yogi, and for all those who don't know, she is a spirited, true spiritual warrior who's not having it, because we need movements in every sector. Nobody is safe. This movement, nobody is safe. We're coming for all those who are oppressors, and that's in yoga. That's in anybody. Nobody is safe. You will be called out. We're not tolerating it. Your feet, knees, all off everyone's neck.
Definitely, this is the time, if never before, for us to talk about equality and fairness and them lifting our humanity. Even it's tied in their liberation as well. So it makes sense for us to really put some steps towards this work to be peaceful and honest. We can't even seek that peace without honesty.
But yeah, I'm practicing my breathing. Definitely practicing my breathing. So
Nice.
new relationship with breath for sure.
Great.
If I
Well,
could just add stretching to that, that would be something else.
definitely join some stretching classes. We're taking yoga outdoors soon in Palmer Park. It starts June 20th. So if you're in Detroit, RSVP. Most of those classes are already filled because of social distancing. Our Chief Health Department Public Officer, if that name or title is right, I think Denise Barrett, who is awesome, came on and told us about how only 9 people can practice, have to be 6 feet apart, and still wear face masks. But Munson, you can still practice from your home. It'll be live streamed. So do some
Oh
yoga.
no, I got a whole studio right here. I got my yoga mat already. I've been getting down, downward dog. I'm here for it. I am definitely increasing my practice every single day. Intermittent fasting. Had 1 meal yesterday. Definitely there. Increase my tea. I have a new mindset on my relationship with food for sure. So,
What was the catalyst for that mindset change? Yoga, breathing, or what?
you know, I wish I could say, I don't think it was one thing other than the pandemic, which really was a reset. Like, you know, if something major is happening, maybe I need to pay attention to a few other things holistically.
Right.
So it wasn't just, I wish I could say that, but I think that it's part of it. I think you take it, I got more people, which I think you need a brain trust. So I have Carrie in my brain trust. I got Romeo in my brain trust. I got Cassidy in my brain trust. But these are people that add things that I can put on to my spirit and wear it. So I think that's just the movement. Like if you're not in a movement right now, you missed it. You missed it. You missed it. You missed it. But the strongest thing I heard yesterday, Cass, was it says you don't have to be in the streets, but you do have to be in the struggle.
I like that.
I like that. That's hard.
Yes.
You
don't have to be
Every industry is so many ways.
right. You don't have to be in the streets, but you do have to be in the struggle.
Put that out there. And
Mindful action.
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
Well, thank you guys.
but thank
Carrie,
you.
before you head out, can you just let everybody know about that class again, what it's called, and how people can participate in it?
Yes. So anyone who is in Detroit who likes to practice in person, I invite you to go to yoganicflow.com, check out our class schedule. We have classes starting June 20th at Palmer Park. Only 9 people can fit because of COVID, but definitely come out. And if you can't, or those classes are full, you can always live stream those classes with us. Also, before this show, come do a class with me. Lots of classes. So please check out yoganicflow.com, and all the up-to-date info is at yoganicflow on Instagram. Thank you so much, Cassidy.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing that insight with us. We always love having you on.
Yeah, I love being here.
Be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe. It is still a pandemic, everybody. So I love that. What are you reading? This is rolling out the AM wake up call. What are you reading?
well, I'm gonna start.
Carrie, that was for Carrie. What are you reading?
Are you asking me? This. This is so good. I actually was reading this morning before class. Vipassana meditation, which is Art of Living, by S.N. Goenka. Has anyone ever heard of Vipassana meditation? Maybe
No, I
we'll do a
haven't.
little Vipassana on Thursday. It's my favorite type of meditation, and you're completely silent for 10 days, and you can do it once a year or more. Romeo was like, what? Yes, can you imagine that, being completely silent for 10 days?
Look at Cassidy. Look at Cassidy.
How does that work, Carrie?
It's amazing. It's a total reset. You know, it just makes you much more mindful of what you're saying. Like, did I need to say that? Or do I need to speak at all? to communicate. In Vipassana, you can't even look at the people's eyes in the program with you because you're supposed to maintain this noble silence, because you become aware that, wow, I can speak to somebody with just my eyes or just my body. And they want you to keep all of your attention inside, so you don't talk to anybody or you don't look at anyone. And it's really, for me, it was a wonderful way to reset. And a lot of things happened that I wasn't sure how it happened. So I wanted to look into this book to learn more. And I'm like, did Vipassana happen just because of, or did all these changes happen just because of Vipassana? Or is it just my daily lifestyle with meditation and yoga? So I'm trying to explore Vipassana more and just learn if this clarity and intuition that I feel has increased is because of the Vipassana lifestyle, or just more broadly my day-to-day yoga and meditation. So great question. Thanks for asking me that. It's so ironic it was right here.
No, I know you always, we want to give here at Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call, we want people to wake up their intellectual pursuit through books, through meditations, through anything that will inspire you to grow your spirit. Like, let's not stop growing. This is a process. Get a practice.
This is a really good practice. It takes a lot of discipline. They recommend that you meditate 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour at night. I cannot tell you guys that I've been successful with that, but I do meditate every single day. But around the time when I did the 10-day, I did, and you will notice some powerful changes. The goal of Vipassana is to help deal with suffering so you never suffer again. At least that's like the claim and the thought, that if you do this, you will evade suffering or deal with it in a way that's not harmful. So it's really good. It's really interesting and powerful information. So check it out. You look like you have some questions.
I'm just stuck on the 10 days of being quiet.
Bam.
That's why Cassidy gave you that look, like, Romeo, 10 quiet.
That's a lot of practice right there, but anything can be done when you put your mind to it. So that's awesome, Carrie. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something, that's a goal, a major goal.
But you're removed from people at that moment, right? You're in a particular place, or you're somewhere where you wouldn't be around people. You wouldn't be walking down the street doing that.
No, I actually don't know how this is going to work now that COVID has happened, because it's a room full of 60 people, about 60 to 100 people, and men are on one side, women are on the other side, and we're all sitting on the floor on a little square mat, or you could use a yoga, what do you call it? Like there's these little chairs that you can use to meditate. It has a little back, but you're sitting on the floor. So it's a room full of those, and you just go in there, you're right next to someone, but you're not supposed to look at them in the face or in the eyes, but it's a room full of people. Yeah, and you're always around people. You eat around people. You're also eating and not able to speak to them. So you're just sitting there and someone is literally this close to you, and you're just like eating in your own head, like thinking, processing. He's cracking up.
So it's like a retreat, somewhat of a retreat.
Right.
You go there and you spend the 10 days there.
Yes.
Everyone who's there is in this practice.
Yes. And guys, one of the best parts, I haven't told anybody that this was one of my favorite parts, but it's completely free. You can donate, but you donate whatever, but it's like free healing. How can you not love this?
Wow.
They feed you. It's a space that you go to that's, livable. You have all your basic needs met. It's really also humbling, and it makes you realize, like, oh, this is all I really need to live, and I'm thankful.
Wow.
So it is a mindset shift after you do it. Like, wow, I didn't need that big king bed or this or whatever. I just needed this, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. So it's a beautiful experience. I highly recommend it, but it's not for everybody. So try a 1 day one first. They have 1 day sessions that you can try just to see how it is, Romeo.
Definitely 1 day before 10, but that is so interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, look it up, Vipassana. I love it.
Vipassana.
We definitely need to keep the faith at this kind of moment. So, maybe we'll listen to that as you depart and have such a phenomenal day, beautiful day. Peace to everybody out there in the world. Peace and love, peace and purpose. Go vote for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Go.
Go
Thank
vote
you so much,
and
Carrie.
vote.
Yes.
All right. So I
Hi,
guess
Carrie. Thank you.
call is, what do we call it? What do we say it is? I am safe.
I am.
Strong.
You done remixed it.
I am loved.
Question is, when you're standing at a crossroads, what do you do? When a fork is in the road, what do you do? When the world is on your shoulders, what do you do? When your back is up against the wall, what do you do? What do you do? You hold on and keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Where do you go when there's nowhere else to go? Where do you turn when there's nowhere else to turn? Where do you look when there's nowhere else to look? What do you do when there's nothing else to do? You're in the master's hand, and the master has a plan. Hold on, and keep the faith. Keep the faith. God has done it before. He can do it again. Praise God. Praise God. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is yours. Victory is ours. Keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
I needed that.
More than ever right now.
I needed that.
Yeah, keep the faith, stand in line, vote, have a ball, be safe no matter what you do. If you're going back to work, we send our prayers, and for those who are on the front line, we don't want you to feel forgotten. Truly is that moment.
And I made a real conscious decision yesterday after I watched Rolling Out News last night about COVID. I was asked would I participate in DJing this weekend, a pool party, and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know what, I want to, but I'm not. I don't feel too comfortable. I still don't feel comfortable as others do right now. But you know, if you don't have any, I urge this to all my DJs. I urge this to all my entertainers. Everybody who wants to open back up. If you do not have any health or precaution plans in place, please don't rush to do it, please, because it's not going to be a good look. So I just want to say I watched Rolling Out News last night, man. Great story last night with Angie Stone, man. It was dope.
Terry Ray, yeah, Rolling Out was great. Janice Mathis was great. The young brother from ACLU was great. Terry was great. Cass in the City. Come on with your report. Thanks, Romeo International.
Yes. So first of all, I was super excited to see this morning. I had to share. Obviously, y'all know I'm obsessed with everything beauty, hair. So I wanted to show this. First of all, Cardi B. Oh wait, no, this is Romeo. Romeo.
Oh, this is
boom, boom.
That is
Romeo. First,
that is first voting.
What? First time voting, Romeo International.
2000 and man, what
Three.
was Barack? 3, yeah. Oh, okay. We can let that go. Let's go. Okay.
All right.
TBT. Definitely make sure you guys get out and vote today.
And our producer is good.
Yes. So first things first, Cardi B showing off her natural hair. She shared some hair growth tips, so I had to show her some love because she looks amazing. Her hair is gorgeous, very long, very healthy. And as we know, Cardi B is always one for wearing protective style. She loves wigs. So she just, she did a hair mask last night and, showed off this natural hair mask she made with like avocado, banana, mayo, honey, all these things that she put in her hair. Then she blow dried it and she straightened it. And this was the end result. It was very, very nice. And she said on her post, don't ever let people tell you not to wear a wig. She said it has helped her hair grow so much. So this was super cool of Cardi. She showed deep conditioning mask she does, and then she showed off her end results. So I love this. Obviously, as a celebrity, she's always switching up her hairstyle, so wigs are the best thing for her to do because she can't dye her hair every day. She can't, switch up her hair length and everything. Up next, we have Selma, Ava DuVernay's film that chronicles Dr. King and, the campaign for equal voting rights, which is very relevant to today, obviously, because it's the day to vote. And we all know, the iconic march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama in 1965. So this movie, very relevant to what we're doing today right now with the marches and the protests. But this movie is available to rent for free during the month of June on all platforms, digital platforms. So make sure you guys go check this out if you've never seen it. Support Ava DuVernay as well as this movie and learn a little bit more if you don't already know about this story and about our history. Next up, legendary actress Cecily Tyson who is 95 years old. She received the Peabody Career Achievement Award. She has had 70 plus years in, Hollywood and entertainment industry, in films and in TV shows. She's known for the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. She's in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, The Help, and many, many more. So big congratulations to her. She's been given her flowers. She's had a very long career. One of the most iconic actresses of our time. So I thought this was awesome. Oprah, Regina King, who else? I know Oprah and Regina King, they sent her a message. This was a virtual award that they did for her. They sent her a message, saying how much she inspired them in her career and how many barriers she broke and trailblazing for Black women in the industry. So shout out to her. Yes. I love her so much. She's super inspiring. I love when she
Why don't you,
speaks.
I think we've got a guest coming. Why don't you introduce our guest there, Cass?
Yes, okay. Give me 1 second. So are we bringing on Miss Virginia Fields?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So today obviously is a Tuesday. Tuesday we always do our health IQ, 6 p.m. at this evening. So we're excited to welcome her. Hello, Miss Virginia Fields. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. How are you doing? Boom, boom, boom.
Good.
Oh,
Welcome. We're so excited to have you on this morning.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. These are challenging times, best of times, the worst of times, but it's all good because some good is coming out of this and we're going to see some change. As Sam
Yes.
Cooke used to sing, a change is going to come.
Yes, absolutely. And I will let you introduce yourself a little bit more, but we know you were appointed by Governor Cuomo in New York as a part of the Ending the AIDS Epidemic Task Force, which is amazing. So we're very excited to have you right now as we're going through this pandemic to kind of give us some insight on everything that's going on.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for the invitation to join you and your viewing audience. These are, again, very challenging times, but we are stepping up. I'm formerly the president of the Borough of Manhattan here in New York, where I served in that elected office for 8 years. And I was a member of the New York City Council for 8 years. By profession, I'm a social worker, having received my master's in social work from Indiana University. So I often say that I'm a social worker by profession, but a public servant by choice. And now I serve as,
Miss Fields.
pardon?
Can you lower your camera a little bit?
Lower my camera.
Just lower it down about shoulder height. There you go.
Is that better?
A little bit more.
Okay.
All right. There we go. Great.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay. Got me.
Got you. You're looking good now.
Okay, thank you. So as a public servant by choice, I now serve as the president CEO of the National Black Leadership Commission on Health. We were formerly the National Black Leadership Commission on AIDS. And last year we did an entire rebranding because we recognize the intersectionality between HIV/AIDS and other health disparities that disproportionately impact African Americans, including diabetes, cardiovascular disease. There are 8 of them: prostate cancer, breast cancer, and sickle cell. So our work is about education and mobilizing communities for action, and then empowering people to take action. So doing this COVID-19, obviously working remotely from home, we have been engaging our communities through a series of webinars on the important issues, not only just information about how to protect oneself. Repetition, we find, is extremely important, but also how to be engaged to make sure that we have the resources in our communities that we need. For example, here in Central Harlem, where I live, it was interesting when the city started releasing the zip codes, where we saw the highest rates of the infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. We did not see the resources, the testing, the PPE for our local hospitals, Harlem Hospital, Metropolitan Hospital. We did not see the community-based organizations nor the faith-based organizations engage. And these are the people who have the reach in the community. So we got to work, and we had to push for everything that we now have. Testing, we have our faith-based organizations now providing testing. We have resources for food that our organization is continuing to make sure get distributed. We have people on the ground passing out masks And we've done this in our other affiliate cities, including Syracuse, Long Island, Buffalo, down in Tampa. And we have affiliates in 12 cities, including Detroit, Tuskegee, Washington, D.C., and of course here in New York City. So
Miss
we've
Fields,
been very engaged.
Miss Fields, question. During today's times, like you said, today is good and bad at the same time. What can be done more for millennials? Because I know there's a disconnect, because a lot of the things that you just mentioned, you know, a lot of people are sight and see. If they see it, they believe it. But if they can't physically see, you know, the disparities of what's going on, it's kind of hard for them to keep up with the race. What advice would you give to those to actually be able to be aware of what's going on?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm truly excited and encouraged by the number of millennials that we see now marching, a whole new generation. And I hope the message and the understanding of those marches, obviously around pushing for justice, around the public murder of George Floyd and so many others that we have seen on camera. Without these video cameras, I think the millennials probably would not have any thoughts or information about this. So what I would say to millennials is to learn more, keep your focus on what is happening and understand why this is happening and the importance of staying engaged. And I say that as a product of a civil rights movement coming out of Birmingham, Alabama, where I was born, and marched as one of the foot soldiers in 1963 with Dr. King. And as a teenager, spent 6 days in jail. But what we saw, of course, were the segregated counters. We saw denials of being able to go to restaurants. And we saw our parents denied opportunities and people not being able to vote. So those were concrete things that we saw. So millennials do not see that today, but I say, look at where are we in leadership roles in making decisions about our lives? When we see police departments, no Blacks there at the table, when we see governors around our states and the mayors in our cities with their daily briefings, where are the Black voices informing or being at those tables to ensure that our voices are being heard? Look at corporations, NFL, no Blacks in terms of ownership. So look at the things that we're engaged in, and where are we? Why aren't we at those tables? Why aren't we leading? Why aren't we the major epidemiologists speaking out on this? When you look at those press conferences, forget about who heads up 1600 right now. We don't expect anything better there. But where are we? So we need to make sure we are in those spaces, preparing people to do the research so that we have information and we're leading and voices are coming from us, our millennials.
Yes, Ms. Fields, I wanted to ask you quickly, you touched on such an important note about voting and, you know, getting our voices heard. And today there are primary elections going on in 5 different states. You know, how do you tell people to go out and vote, but how should they protect themselves when they're hitting the polls today?
All right.
Miss,
Okay, can
Miss
you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, you were frozen there for a look like about a lifetime, but I guess it was only 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, I was just asking quickly, you know, today you mentioned voting, and today is such an important election in many states. How should people protect themselves when they're going out, you know, to make their voices heard today and hitting the polls, but still protecting themselves with coronavirus, from coronavirus?
I can't hear you. I
What?
can't hear you now. Can you hear
Danielle?
me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Did you hear my question?
No, I did not. Please repeat it.
Okay. I was asking, you mentioned voting and how important it is for our voices to be heard. And today is an important election, primary election in 5 different states. How do you advise people to go out and vote, but to still protect themselves, as we're still dealing with this pandemic?
And of course, we have a lot of, voting by mail, and I'm sure that people have hopefully taken advantage of that. If one did not, to go out and vote and be mindful of social distancing and to protect themselves, wearing the mask, wearing the gloves. Don't take them off yet, no matter what we are hearing about that. So I encourage people to vote. We have 2 opportunities right before us, voting and the census. We must participate in the census because that dictates the resources coming into our communities. So put on the protection, go out, vote, stand, social distancing. And if you have to stand in a line, that's what we have to do. And I'm encouraging us to do that.
Yes. Thank you for that. Munson, did you have anything?
No, I just think it's real important, the concept that you were sharing with Romeo and Cassidy. Demand to see it. I think what we've been allowed is 1 or 2 African Americans in the room. I think the demands of both major corporations by the next generation is going to be key. We're going to have to demand to see. Why should we just be watching no Black epidemiologists on CNN, but we say we love CNN? Why should we be watching? We want to see our Black epidemiologists front and center on CNN, and we should demand that. I think having those same demands for corporations where they've had too small a number in Silicon Valley, that's racism. That's racist. We don't want to wait for the pipeline. Fill it up today. Hire us today. We should not be sitting back posting on social without demanding huge gains in employment opportunity, and demand, if you're making billions, be honest and commit something to our HBCUs right now. I think you really pointed it out, Ms. Fields, that our presence is important, and it is a demand that we have now. We have to be front and center in servicing our community, and we want to see the budgets. We want to know if you have a Black PR firm. We want to know if you're hiring Black attorneys, Black accountants, Black chemists. We don't want you to have these side deals. We want part of the budget, Biden. We want part of the budget, all the corporations. And I think, Romeo, the thing that she pointed out is you should demand to see the budget of Nike, the budget of Adidas, the budget of anybody that we give our African-American dollars to. You should demand that they share how they're spending their money in our community. That is it. That is social justice. There is no social justice without economic progress. And this is the moment, because we don't need you having your foot or your knee on our economic neck anyhow.
Absolutely. And when you think about the changes that took place in Montgomery, Alabama, after a full year of Black people walking, it really had to do with the economics, the impact on the businesses that broke through on that, as well as in Birmingham. People didn't shop. So economic empowerment can come from these social activities that are now going on. We don't have to spend our money at these places where we can't own anything, where we can't still work. And just because it's the latest fashion, no. Demand economic inclusion. And this is the time to do that. Yes, we are fighting for police reform, but let's keep in mind that it is a broader agenda. It is political reform, economic reform, criminal justice reform, health reform, education reform. What's happening to all of our children who are out of school for all of these months? We had better pay attention so that they are not left much further behind. So I know you're doing it. And on your show, Rolling Out, people get the information, and I'm, happy to be a part of these efforts. So I say, let's keep going. This is
Well, we'll see you tonight at Rolling Out Health IQ, 6 p.m. Everybody tune in. You'll get more of this fireball, this community leader. We want to thank you so much for being who you are today, who you are yesterday. And you can send me that Romare Bearden painting in the backdrop. I see it. I see the name. But we love you. We respect you. You are a torchbearer and a true fireball for social change. And we love you here at Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Take care.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
This is the day.
Vote.
Very, very important.
We got the power to change your way.
You know what, Mustard? I would love to see your first vote photo. I would love to see your first vote photo.
And it probably was like Andy Young or something like that. I was here. My first time I registered was here.
Oh.
Shout out Shirley Carter.
Shirley Carter.
Come on, Shirley. From Philly.
Yep. Janice Simmons. Earl Reed, Janice Simmons. Also Thomas Turner, Faith Morris, Giselle Jovette, and Barbara Fields. Everybody's in this morning, man. They're in the AM Wake Up. Pat George. Yes. Good morning, man. Everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Well, let's go. Romeo, I know you got something in that report for us.
I got a little something in the report for us. I don't know if we're gonna like it, but my first thing is, what is your vote plan? Mr. Steve always says post with a purpose. So what I took upon that was, I'm going to post with a purpose. And my purpose is, what is your vote plan today? Going before, after work? Are you walking? Are you driving? Are you going alone? Are you taking a friend? Share with your friends to remind them to vote. And I posted this, it says vote tomorrow, but I actually posted this yesterday. But share with your friends, vote. Have a plan when you go vote. Encourage others when you go vote. And I want you to post that you're voting. Nothing's stopping you from doing that. Now, on to the controversy, because I really want to know what King James and Cass in the City thinks. Tekashi 6ix9ine. I know. But I need you to watch this video first. Hit it, Portia.
Things that I did got me thinking like, why the fuck I did that? Got me wishing that I could take it all back. Fighting with these demons, barely even eating, barely even sleeping. Then she got me tweaking, fighting with my lawyers for a better offer. Just wanna see my daughter. Cause I'm locked up, they won't let me. I'm locked up, they won't let me out. Never thought I'd be caught up in these streets. Yeah, I'm locked up, they won't let me out. No, they won't let me out. Still trying to find that motive. Why did what I did?
Let that go. Now, before Tekashi went in, our Akon, promised him that he could be on the remix to his classic song, Locked Up. Now, keep in mind, very big major artists before him have been wanting to be upon this classic song in history. But no, Akon stepped up and he gave it to Tekashi 6ix9ine, and they went into the studio with his new lace front on, and they produced the remix to Locked Up, a classic Black hip hop song. I'm gonna let you go, Cass. I'm gonna go ahead.
I mean, I can't get over the rainbow hair. It's just a distraction. It's crazy. It's a wig. Like, just so many questions on that note. But as far as the music, it's definitely weird for Akon to even allow him to be on this remix. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this is. Is this like a clout move? I don't know. Like, Akon doesn't need the money. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what was the point of this? Maybe it's relevant. I don't know.
And that's a serious question before we hit King James, because Akon does not need the money. He does not need the money. What you think, King James?
I mean, I thought it was repugnant. I mean, I'm very disappointed. The dude, this is just appalling. The dude is doing so much good in Nigeria, in his home, in the motherland, in Africa, with the infrastructure of his home country. And then he comes out and do this stuff with this bright colored clown whose hair was louder than the music. I mean, my ears are bleeding from his damn wig. So so I'm just trying to figure out what, I mean, it is. I think that when you try to get relevant again, people will do anything to become relevant. But I don't see under any circumstance that he can justify affiliating himself with a snitch and further emboldening him to disrespect our culture and disrespect our legends, just like Snoop Dogg, when he had that beef with Snoop Dogg. This just further emboldens him. This is not going to end well because Mr. Daniel Hernandez, that's his real name, has no constraints on his tongue. So, I mean, he might get it cut off.
Yeah, it's not a good look at all, music wise. I mean, I don't see people wanting to work with Akon after this. You know, that's Tekashi has really like had beef with so many people that in the industry, I don't see this being a good look at all for him. And people wanted this remix, like Romeo said. Like, I think Tory Lane said something about this, like, you know, I wanted the remix, you know, when he did his mixtape with all the remixes, but that's another story.
Yeah, but it's been years since he's been relevant, like a long time. And even though he brilliantly gave back to his home country, and even though he brilliantly found or created Lady Gaga and other artists, and reaping the vast dividends from those artists, just sitting back at home and just collecting stacks. This dude is collecting stacks, making boss moves behind the scenes. You know, as they say, gangsters move in silence. That was him. He needs to remain silent. To affiliate himself with this rodent named Daniel is just preposterous. I'm offended. I am.
And let me give y'all three. This is gonna blow you guys away. I'm gonna give you three of the main artists that actually approached Akon to be a part of this remix before this. We have Nas, Young Jeezy, and Method Man. Nas, Young Jeezy, and Method Man opted to be a part of this remix. I just blew. I don't know what Akon doing. Munson, what you think?
No, bro, you wanted this moment. I'm kind of like Terry. I'm glad I didn't eat before I saw the video. It was one of those gross moves where I just looked away. You know, it was. It's not for my mind. It's not for my spirit. It's not for anything about me. I'm you know, so I'm gonna pass on commenting. I'm just with Terry. My ears didn't bleed, but I definitely would like vomit if I continued to look at such scourge. It is not cool. I mean, I think it's a not cool thing. I think he's not cool, but you know, nobody's asking me. This is what affects me when we talk about trending. Trending trash. I'm so tired of trending trash and people promoting trending trash.
Well, I mean, that's just reality. That's why that's just the reality. And speaking of which, that's why reality TV is so popular, because people traffic in trash. You know, there's people who are putting on shows, and we know who they are, who are trafficking in dysfunction. And so but that's the reality of it. Trash sales, trash trends. I'm sorry.
Trash trends.
Say it again, Terry.
Trash trends, trash sales. It does. I'm sorry.
Trending trash. Go ahead, keep going, man.
Trending trash. You got to make a trash. You got to make a trash. Oh man. So we have a special guest that's been to check in, man, to the Rolling Out AM wake up call. I'm gonna call him my friend. I'm gonna call him my buddy. One of the most hilarious dudes on the planet. We got Philip Hudson, comedian, actor, socialite, in the building on the Rolling Out AM call. Philip, is he there? There you go.
We can't hear you, Philip.
You gotta turn the mute off. Get the mute button. It should be bottom left.
Yeah, in the bottom left corner, just
like a microphone.
There it
you
is.
go.
there it is.
Sat in.
Hey man,
There you go.
I'm getting off, Romeo.
What's
Philip,
going
I
on,
just
man?
want to say what's up, man. Thanks for coming. I can't stand you, brother. I just want you to know that. I cannot stand you. You know,
Hey,
I
man.
done watched that video when you were in the doctor's office.
Yeah. Based on true events, man.
Can
Based on true
Oh, man.
events.
you bring your camera down, sir? Can you bring your camera down?
The folks trying to see me.
Oh,
All right, there you
I mean, bruh, you know, you represented some real lames on that one, boy.
Hey, man. I had to.
All right,
They all
well,
got that.
Much love to you and your brother. Thank you so much, man. Y'all are doing a great job for the culture. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir. Appreciate you.
so rolling out AM, man. Let me introduce my boy, man. Philip Hudson, in my eyes, comedian. Look at him, comedian, actor, socialite, and newfound philanthropist. He can add philanthropist to his role as well. One of the coolest dudes I meet every time we out. And one thing I love about him, every time I run into him or his brother, it's just strictly love. Like we ain't seen each other. Like we just saw each other yesterday, man. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm still here like you, man. We made it, man. 2020 crazy ride. And I'm just glad to still be here, you know, and so I can do my thing, continue pushing.
So this is where I want to start off with, because we got a video. You know what? We want to show this video first. I want to show everybody that's streaming right now this video. And this is my favorite because I feel like you shot this in real life, in real time. Cassidy, you about to blow away. Check this out.
Let me see what this is. Straight on the true story.
My boy said, at the hot and ready. Oh, I'm finna get out this morning.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Philip Hudson. Corporate. You Philip Hudson? Where you look like Philip Hudson?
And you don't look like corporate.
No, I'm the manager. What's this?
You ain't.
This Philip. Am
I know who that is, but it's 1-800 Little Caesars.
1-800 little.
What can we
Out
do
of
for you?
business.
What can we do for you? You been waiting for something?
She told me 1 second.
Cause I was gonna get you the number.
No, the other girl told me 1 second.
She had to go take a call in the bay.
But y'all supposed to be hot and ready.
We trying to get her running for you right now.
Philip Hudson.
Yes, I know, bro.
Corporate.
Yeah, bro. You gotta call them out, man. The sign say hot and ready. I pull up. Here in Georgia, they got a hot and ready drive-through. You know what I'm saying? Which is a blessing. Anyway, but it's not a blessing when I pull up to the hot and ready and they not ready. They giving me the finger. Like it's just an oxymoron. I understand, and I felt like corporate needed to be addressed, bro. That's how we got to do it. And how we got.
Where do you come up with your comedy skits or your genius? How does that come about to you?
Got to give glory to God first and foremost. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you because to make somebody laugh to me it's just a beautiful thing, and it's about the irony of it. And I literally sometimes it just literally just you feel me it just comes out of nowhere sometimes, and it's like, and those be the most genuine ones. But that like what you just seen there, I just thought about. I just pulled up to the high ready and like they're not ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the first video I've done like that. And y'all say, hey, come here. Y'all been my business anyway. And my baby.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's all good.
Hi. Hi.
Hey,
what's her name?
This is Parker. You know.
Parker.
Hi,
Welcome
Parker.
to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Show.
She made me this necklace too, so y'all holler at her on Instagram.
Oh. Okay.
Go wash your face. You embarrassing me. I'm just playing.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely comes from God, and because I definitely can't explain it, and I try to be organic with it. I try to, as soon as it comes to my head, I try to drop it. I don't try to put too much thought into it. I've been doing this for a long time, man. Just taking my time, being patient, you know, letting things unfold.
Do you ever have a fear of when you're creating? as far as the response? Because you and your brother, y'all don't really too much care.
We going with too much what? Too much what?
Y'all don't really too much care. Like y'all put it out there.
Yeah.
Are you ever conscious?
Yeah, it's actually I wouldn't say we were more conscious as much as other people. It's that for me personally, I'm not going to sit here and just say I don't really care. You go back and forth because when you're trying to make money from it too at the same time, that's when you start to get calculated. You know what I mean? But when you're just doing it like how we all started, my brother just wanted to do a video. It was organic. And you see how things panned out. But yeah, sometimes it gets to the point where you drop something and you put everything you got into it. Like, yeah, this one gonna go, this one gonna go. You hit it, and then it's like, bro, I ain't never seen as little people looking at this as I ever seen in my life. Like nobody looked at the video. No, it didn't go viral. It didn't do what I thought it would do. So it's like you can't really be too caught up in the algorithms and like who gonna look at it, anything. Like, you just gotta drop it. You know what I'm saying? Because the moment you put all, like you can put all your all into something that you think is funny or something that might go, but you just never know. You know what I'm saying? It's tricky sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, Philip, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, stepping into your lane, you know what I'm saying, in life. And I wanted to ask you about some other hilarious situations, whether it's been shopping, especially since the onset of the COVID-19 that you've seen, whether you've been shopping, whether it's been in the park, getting people out of your space. Is there something that's been funny that you observed in the last 2 months while we've been going through this pandemic?
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be totally transparent with you all. I had an awakening during this pandemic, and it's a personal reflection of myself. When we started wearing the masks, I didn't know that when I spoke, what was coming out of my mouth until it ricocheted off my mask, came back up through the flaps into my nose, and when I okay, I know I haven't been putting these people through this my whole life. It took a pandemic to tell me this spot. My boy, you gotta floss. My boy, keep period. Because what you got going on, the situation you got coming out of your mouth, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. This is for you. This is for you, dog. This pandemic happened for you to wake up.
Oh my goodness.
Right? And I was like, yeah, I'm humble. I said, thank you, God, for opening my eyes. I didn't know what I was doing. I did not know. Yeah, and I think everybody came in contact with that ricochet, that bounce back. They just gonna be quiet. And I feel like that was before the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a little self-reflection.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, I got it right though. I floss and I brush my teeth now. Make sure I brush my tongue, all my taste buds. I get back there, get as many as I can, and yeah, we figured it out. We got it right.
Oh my goodness. Ooh. I just wanted to ask you. You just, you showed us your daughter, and you're working on this, new song, "Heart of Gold." I just wanted you to speak a little bit about that. Your daughter's been a part of that. And what that means to you and why that was important for you.
It was a big experience. When I write music, I actually wrote poetry before I started doing videos with my brother. I used to just write back when I was younger. And so when there's everything that's been going on in 2020 and with everything in social justice, I had wrote the song just to motivate myself. I write music to motivate myself. I can't make certain types of music unless I motivate myself to actually get up and do it, basically. And so I wrote the song. I just felt that, you know what I'm saying, I just started with a line in my head. I was like, I can't lose my heart of gold. I can't lose my heart of gold. Just thinking that you have to, you know what I'm saying, you have to stay true. And I was going to drop the song a couple weeks ago, but it just, at the time, it was perfect because during a time like this, in my opinion, for Black people and people just that want to change in their life, it starts with your heart. It starts with, you can't lose. I know the enemy is going to come in many shapes and forms and stuff, but you can't lose your heart of gold. You have to continue to press forward. You have to continue to absorb their hate and absorb the love as well, sift it, you know what I'm saying, and do what's best for you. And my daughter, she soaks in everything we do. She's very intelligent, and And I heard her singing one day. I was like, yeah, we got to get in the studio. And I don't really, that was actually my first collab with my daughter. And she just did the background vocals. She was my first collab, and she did her thing. We went to the studio. I said, Parker, I'm gonna put you in the studio. You're gonna help me do my thing. And that's exactly what we did. So we put together Heart of Gold. You can check it out on all platforms, YouTube. I got a lyric video, just the breakdown of my mind. And it's on YouTube. Manuel and Philip Hudson, YouTube, and it's on iTunes. It's everywhere. It's basically just, I do a lot of self-reflective music. So whenever you hear what I'm saying in my music, I'm oftentimes talking to myself. And I also got a video coming out later on today called It's You, just basically talking to the man in the mirror about what needs to be done. And yeah, so it was just a beautiful experience and just very organic. Parker didn't give me too much trouble. She got in and out, did her thing, and I'm really excited for people to hear it. And the transition from being a comedian to quote unquote rapping, it's a very interesting experience, because when you go from getting hits like this on comedy videos, yeah, and then you put something out like serious music. No, I'm like serious music, and it doesn't get the same response. It's like a culture shock. You got to remember, sometimes you got to start from the scratch. No matter what people know you as, you have to start from the bottom. You have to humble yourself to understand that this is a new game. So when you say something, when you come to them folks, you got to be talking about something. You just can't because you ain't going to get that many people's attention at first. So when you do say something, whoever you grab, you have to grab them and say, hey, this is who I am forever. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever forget it.
Speaking of culture shock, you did something real bold, man. You did something real bold that a lot of people getting canceled for. You actually took your platform and spoke on injustice. You spoke on what people are doing wrong and right, and you called them out. And you said it, when I watched the video, you said it with so much love in your heart that people, your fans, your supporters, they actually came behind you and supported you, and it was like, "Nah, we're not finna cancel Philip." What was on your heart that day? What made you actually change your voice for the culture?
Well, I've always felt like when y'all see me, a lot of people say when they see me in real life, I'm not the person that they expect to see. I'm funny. I'm very funny and things like that. But I have a very calm side of me in a reality. And so I've always yearned, even through my music, to spread something it goes against the opposition. And I've always had that. I always and there's something about this life that doesn't make sense. And I've always wanted to express that. So when this time had came, like I say, even who I am and in my music, it's a lot of self-reflecting. I believe personally that if you allow another man, I believe personally that if we go through our month, 30 days it's 31 days in a month. Let me just brief with it. It's 31 days in a month, and we spend 30 days saying, I don't care about what people think about me. I don't care about this. We tough. And we're tough those days just to keep our spirits up on the day-to-day. But when that 31st day comes, when we need that strength, we must remember, hey, can't nobody tell me nothing about myself. Can't nobody tell me nothing. It's on me. If I'm gonna have a downfall, I'm gonna be my own downfall. I will never ever give the opposition the satisfaction to be my demise or my rise. I will never do it. I will never speak their name. I will never do it. I'm going to press forward. I believe that if we want to move forward, honestly, it's nowhere near about them. The way they think is minuscule. They're simple. We can see what they do. And I often say, who wants to die a slow and painful death, meaning who wants to see their death coming? And if we see what the opposition is doing, if we see what they're doing, we cannot fear them. We cannot fear them because we know what they're up to, because they're showing their hand. Get out of my way. Just get out of my way. I understand. And it's like I said, I do a lot of self-reflecting and say, hey, it starts here. It starts right here. And I'm very passionate about that, because I believe when we get when it's not just about being Black, but when we get on the same level as Black people and understand the power that we have just by breathing, the battle is not fighting to breathe, because we fight by breathing. When we live, that's our ammo. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
I want people to see the video. Before you continue, I want people to see the video. So if we can go to the video, because it moved me, man.
Appreciate it, man.
I mean, they say the peaceful way wasn't working. Now we looting. I don't know how I feel about what's going on, man, about the whole looting situation. I just feel like we going about it the wrong way. I just feel like the real solution is how we can loot online. So I need all my African American Black King hackers to tap in right now. Figure out how we can loot online. Hit my DM first. And then I'm gonna take it from there, because I think we're approaching it a totally different way and we really can change the game. Hit my DM. Let's do it. Let's go. I mean, they say
it's on my DM. If you know how to loot, hit me up. Basically,
explain loot online, because I think the first thing that popped up in my head when I saw him do that King James was, okay, he's not finna take the traditional I'm finna go out there and march approach. No, since the world is social, I'm finna show people how to loot online. Explain that.
Well, when I first did it, it was just basic. It was irony. When you look at it, it's like, hey, basically my whole standpoint is let's get strategic with it. Now, I wasn't being at all serious about hackers hit my line. Some hackers did hit my line. But they telling me to wrap it up. But yeah, it was just a strategy. Like we've been doing things a certain way for so long, and we got to figure out what our opponent is doing. So we have to be like, what they got going on? They out here playing chess moves. They out here playing chess, and we out here, you feel me, just taking what's given. And it's like we gotta move. We kings and queens, and we're meant for a certain thing. So we gotta move that way. So when I was saying let's loot online, that was just basically see how we can. It's Corona. We mix the Corona. We social distancing, and we want to loot. How can we do that together? Let's find out how we can loot Target and Amazon and all these places online without actually leaving our houses spreading the coronavirus.
And see, that's why he did not get canceled, because unlike Trina, he actually studied. He cracked open a book. He tried to read. See, we got some unseasoned and uncouth and unlearned people like Trina calling people animals for protesting.
See, and that's right there, though. That's a very, very good point that you made right there. See, again, when I Trina is who she is. When I did my thing online, a lot of people came for me. I lost followers. And that's when it goes back to what Romeo was saying about, you know what I mean? What's it like when people don't receive you the same way? And do we worry about the reactions? Yes, I spent a week just going back and forth. Should I post it? Should I not? Because I didn't want to lose followers and I didn't want to hinder my brand per se. I don't want to lose followers because I've been hustling so long. And I was like, I'm finally here. I'm finally getting this engagement that I need. And I started losing followers. Like, dang, is this good for business? So I made a business move. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Trina and things like that, she is a Black woman. In my opinion, just like those people that came under my profile, and they wasn't talking to me. They wasn't trying to get an understanding or whatever. They just came for me. I would much respect if they didn't come for me at all and just kept quiet because I'm Black. So if I have something to say, you know what I mean, and maybe it ain't what y'all want to hear. Maybe Trina is not saying what I want to hear, but what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna mention her. I'm not going to spread what she has if I don't agree with it. But I'm not going to bring up her name. If she doesn't bear fruit, I cannot speak her name. I can't. I have to focus on who's actually doing what I believe in. And again, I just give Trina the benefit of the doubt because she is Black. That's what makes me not say nothing. That's okay. I'm not going to say nothing to you. I'm not going to do that because there's no point, because that's creating the vibe between me and her. You know what I mean? And you know what? If what she's saying is irrelevant, it will remain irrelevant. We're not going to bring light to it. We're not going to disrespect, and we're going to have a certain respect for her because she is Black first. And sometimes that respect is silence. Maybe I don't understand where she's coming from, but you know what? She's Black. I got a little bit more patience with her than I do anybody else. So if I had something to say to Trina, it'll be a question like, explain. That's it. Just one word. Explain what you're saying. A lot of people came to my DM. They didn't understand what I was saying. And one guy came to me, he said, you know what? I don't want to get things misconstrued with you, sir. Can you elaborate on this? And I thought they were respectful because I could have been a KKK, but you'll never be able to talk to people like Donald Trump if you do not know how to talk, get in that same room with him. You will never be able to. You have to know how to speak to people to be able to find a common ground. And
come on, man. Keep speaking your truth. We need it. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, you may not understand the movement, but everybody needs to be in the movement. Like you ain't gotta like me. A lot of people ain't gonna never like me. I ain't looking for they like stuff. So keep speaking your truth. Keep being a great dad. See, for me, it's like who you are. Represent who you are, then move on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing. Obviously, go online to play for kids because you got to play for kids, and I've written books for our little black girls. So play for kids right there waiting. Like I said, I love your movement, man. You keep doing what you're doing because it takes a whole community to have diversified voices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When people persecute my community and call us animals, you get no pass.
Right.
I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect your baby, your wife, or your girl. I'm not gonna let nobody do that. But when you disgrace my whole community and call us animals, I'm not gonna give you a pass.
Right. I got to point you out.
I'm not, because that you're attacking my race when you do that. You may not understand oppression, and you may not even be in Chicago. So you may not have seen your brother shot down. So you might not have the same feeling I got right now inside of me, this rage out, because you don't know the South Side. So, but you talking about looting, but you don't know how I feel, and you don't see my face. So it's real easy. You were attacking my race when you did that. I had a lot of people that attacked young people who were out because they didn't understand the movement was happening. And by the time they got the movement, it was still. And so when they attack our race and say something negative, it's like somebody don't understand comedy from a black man. You may not get it. Well, you just slow. But I attack my race and call us illiterate and animals. You attacking my race. You just don't understand, my brother and sister. It was like the homeless girl that say, y'all about to lose your job. And everybody found out that she was homeless. But I loved her and she was beautiful.
Yeah.
She was beautiful. Except for the grace of God, that could be me, that could be anybody that I know. And I need to love her where she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when you start calling my people animals, I'm not getting ready to tolerate that. You're calling the whole race.
You referring to me calling someone animals?
No,
we're talking about Trina. We're talking about Trina.
Yeah, man.
I was just saying with our sister Trina, it was like, when you start talking Buddhas and that, it's like you don't get the movement.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be. You came and this is where you work, and you encouraging. You encouraging. She was talking about our whole race now. We all animals. I don't want to be judgmental, but I don't know a person. You know what I mean? I don't know a person. But I do know that the underdevelopment is on our side of town. I do know that the economic oppression and even social media. They're gonna make billions off Instagram this year, and then we're not gonna get 10th of that right back in our community. We gotta check ourselves. We gotta demand those social justice. So I love what you do. I love it. Your comedy. I love your humor. I love the fact that you are diversifying your whole portfolio. You're one more brother thinking and using words like irony, encouraging the next generation to be intelligent and more intelligent and growing their intelligence. I love that. But we're going to come for all people that attack our race.
You said what?
We're going to come for all people that attack our race.
And I like to say one last thing. I know we got to wrap it up, but I encourage everybody, if they can sit down wherever they are, and just think of 5 words. If you had 5 words, just period, to tell the future, to tell the future generation, what would those 5 words be? Now you don't have to answer it. Just ponder on that. And once you come up with that, once you come up with those 5 words, now you only get 5 now. You only get 5, and it's important because they finna lead the net. They finna lead. We're gonna tell them. And I think once we have a sit down and reflect on the future, like everything can start being strategic. Everything can start falling into place, and we can start understanding, start weeding people out, because everybody, like you say, like what Trina said. Now she may have been trying to save face, but everybody may not get it. They may not get it. And then if you worse, and she blatantly doesn't get it. So if you waste words, you feel me? You can give those words to your youth. You know what I mean? Instead of giving somebody, she's a grown lady and she's already thinking like that. I gotta go. I'm gonna tell my daughter, boom, this is what you gotta do, because this lady, you're gonna be the future lady. You can be a future whoever. This is what you need to know. I got 5 words for you, and I gotta go. And that's just how it's like. We have to strategize. We only got a certain amount of time. They see us, they killing us like flies. What are we gonna do before they get us? What we gonna say?
Man, I appreciate you 100%, bro, man. Hey, shout out to you. You family to me, always family to Rolling Out, man. Thank you for checking in this morning, bro.
Thank you so much. Hey, man, appreciate this opportunity, man. You don't really understand what type of divine timing this is for me. And I appreciate everybody here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for having me. And thanks for just you low key with it, man. You've been paying attention, you low key, and I appreciate it, man.
All day, man.
Yeah,
Philip, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and say hi to Parker for us.
Parker, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna let her know.
All right.
Bye.
All right, man. Be safe.
You too.
Cats in the city.
Hey, is this? Did y'all record this?
Yeah.
Hey, send it to me.
I got it.
Yes, you guys. So up next, we have an exciting young artist, Adrian Brandon. How are you doing?
Adrian.
Yo.
What's going on?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, it's a tough question to answer these days, obviously, as we know. But you know, I'm hanging in there. This past week has been a roller coaster of emotions, but we're doing good right now.
Definitely. And before we even get into this, I want our producers to show, you know, this video of some of your artwork as you're doing it in the process. So I just want to pull that up right now.
This is amazing.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up.
This is amazing.
So that's just a quick little video I wanted to show. This is Breonna Taylor. And Adrian, I want you to just, you know, introduce yourself a little bit more and let people know a little bit about yourself. And then I want to get into this series that you've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm from Seattle. I have 2 older siblings. I grew up kind of always with art as a forefront of my life. My mom's a big into, you know, creative energy around the house. My dad is a huge athlete. So I kind of grew up balancing both of those my whole life, you know, playing sports, basketball through college. Went on to school in LA at Pitzer College and got a Fulbright to teach overseas in Taiwan. So I spent a year doing that and then found my way to Brooklyn, and I'm here now, and, you know, just loving it over here. And it's always been a dream to be on this side of the country. And so it's going well, and really just trying to incorporate Brooklyn life and Brooklyn energy into my pieces, because it's such an inspiring place to be.
Definitely. Who is your dad before we go on? Is he someone that we would know, or he's just into sports?
Nah. He
Okay.
Rob Brandon, you know, he's big in Seattle, but he played over at University of Montana. But
Okay.
A huge role model for me my whole life, but
Awesome.
not on that level for y'all.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want you to discuss the Stolen series, which is this collection of artwork you're working on. You just tell us a little bit about it, and then we can talk about the video.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a series I started actually in February of 2019. So it's been a process for me this whole time, but it just highlights Black victims of police violence, those who have lost their lives at the hands of the police. So I use time as an additional medium. So for instance, like Michael Brown, you know, he was killed when he was 18 years old. So I set a timer as I start this portrait for 18 minutes. and I begin to color and try to illustrate his face and kind of show his story. But when 18 minutes is up, I stop. And so you're left with this incomplete portrait, and you're left with these questions of, wow, one, just with his art, what was this piece going to look like? You know, where was he going with this? What was the final product going to be? And so that translates into, like, we didn't know who Michael Brown was going to grow up to be. You know, he was stolen from his life, from his family, from his community, and we never got to see who he was becoming. And that is, as a young Black man, that's what kills me. Seeing all these stories, it's so personal. And so Stolen really is just meant to honor these lives first and foremost, to show everyone that this is a movement that has been going on for so long, and we can't, clump all these names together. It's hard because there's so many stories, and it all kind of falls under a similar umbrella, but these are individual lives. These are individual brothers and sisters and aunties and coworkers, and their families need their stories to remain relevant. Even though there's numerous names getting piled every, week, day, whatever, it's overwhelming, but we can't ignore that, hey, we're still fighting for Tamir Rice. We're still fighting for Sandra Bland. Like, all of these are still have to remain relevant. And just for other people to see how big this is for us. I think recently, obviously George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, that's caught a lot of eyes, but people are learning, obviously we've been struggling this for a while. And unfortunately, it's taken so long for other people to pick that up. So when people see my series, I want them to see, oh, damn, this was in 2006, this was in 12, I never even heard these names. And so that's really why I just want to bring their names up, because we really got to keep talking about them.
I see. Adrian, how is it that you were able to maintain or sustain your creative expression in a city where people live virtually on top of each other, literally on top of each other, and with the fact that you are at the epicenter of the coronavirus in America? I mean, that New York is the center of gravity in this country and in the Western world for the coronavirus. So there's that angst, there's that fear of catching it. You're around millions of people, 10 million people in one city alone. How were you able to maintain and even stoke your creative process being holed up in that city?
Yeah, that's a great question. When everything kind of happened in March, a lot of people were like, oh, this is great for your art. You have all this time now, you're just gonna kill it, go do your thing. But as an artist, I get so much inspiration from my surroundings. So not being able to go to a, dance outside, or go experience Crown Heights and, walk down the streets as freely, that was difficult for me. So it definitely took an adjustment period. But I've always used art as a form of therapy for me. So during this whole quarantine, I started this window series, which was just very simple illustrations that kind of highlighted the lives of people in New York at this moment and how we're taking care of ourselves, how we're trying to, express ourselves in different ways, but also kind of suffocated by this isolation that we're all experiencing. So at first I was kind of intimidated by this amount of time and lack of kind of inspiration from the outside world. But then it kind of translated as therapy, and a lot of people connected with that series and have purchased prints online. But it was tough. I definitely really just kind of interact with my surroundings, and so this was a difficult transition. But with social media now too, it's really interesting because now we're kind of forced to connect in different ways. And I think a lot of people recently with Stolen have really connected with that series. So I've kind of created a new community that I didn't know was there, that's way bigger than any community I've been a part of, So it's really exciting to see that roll out.
Adrian, we're going to bring up your Instagram, and I just kind of want you to describe, so people can really get a taste of what your art is, some of your works that you've done, whichever speaks to you first.
Yeah, so all of my work really, I try to show the whole spectrum of my Black experience. Obviously, all of our experiences are different, but there's common themes throughout. So showing the pain and the historical injustices and current injustices that we face, but also showing that, hey, we shine through that. We're beautiful. We go through all of that and we're still as vibrant and just proud of our skin. And I think that's really important to show both of those sides. So
what is your Instagram page?
It's at ayy.bee, AB. But yeah, so you'll see these are those window series that I was discussing. It's everything from how do you celebrate birthdays and how are people managing with our, hairstyles. I grew my hair out for mad long and started coloring it and all that kind of stuff and getting creative. But, but also then, we see Breonna Taylor's death, and then how do we protest from inside our rooms? And that's a really interesting and difficult experience. So really just trying to capture the time. I think art is such a beautiful tool, and kind of just just show where we were at in time. Looking back at it, I want people to see my work and feel like, oh, 2020, this is such a unique period, obviously, and this art really reflects that.
Well, we know what kind of facility you live in. New York has millions of sky rises in those outside ladders. So we know we know the kind of place you live in, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I wish it was as tall as that my grid is on my Instagram. But no, it's funny too with the fire escapes. I mean, that's something I've always kind of fantasized with before I moved to New York. I was like, that looks dope. I mean, that's I'm used to like Seattle, we got like yards and everything, a lot of green space, which is cool. But I was like, this fire escape, this stoop aesthetic, like everything, I'm just always gravitated toward it. And now being forced as like, that's my only kind of escape from my apartment. So it's cool kind of observing my neighbors and interacting with them on a different level.
Romeo, did you have anything?
My question, well, first of all, shout out to Janice Simmons and Barbara Fields. They say they love your artwork. I was something just caught my eye about your Stolen series. As a creative, there's a lot to take in, like you're looking at the faces and you're creating the face. Like, is it a lot to take in? Because when we see it, we see it in passing moments, a photo on Instagram or it comes across your screen, but you're actually drawing and studying it. How do you creatively hold on to yourself? Because it's a lot.
It is a lot, and it really does take a toll on just like my mental health. It's the process of doing it, like when that timer hits and I have to put the pen down, and as an artist, it's like I have a lot of moments that kind of hit me. It's wow, I want to finish this piece. Like, I'm attached to this piece. I think it's beautiful. I can see where it's going, and it hurts me that I can't even finish this eye or the lip. And then I think of what that means in the broader scope, and it's like, obviously it's such a bigger scale when you're talking about someone's life. So it's really emotional. I break down a lot when I do these pieces, and I think that's what's kind of needed right now, unfortunately, is like we need to hit these moments, because it's going on to a point where obviously we're at a breaking point, and we can't be continuing on with this type of lifestyle and seeing our people treated this way. So it's painful for me to create, and I hope people feel that pain when they see it, because that's needed. You got to get through these emotions. You can't just push things aside. You know what I'm saying? You have to kind of let yourself feel it. And so hopefully you educate yourself about these stories, because I'm kind of pouring a lot of myself into it. And it's as emotional as it is, it also feels good just to take time to honor these lives and to for me to learn these names, because I thought I knew a lot about, this whole movement, but I'm learning names every day. And so it feels good for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna give an hour or whatever to Walter Scott, and I get to learn about his story. And it kind of is this beautiful moment with me and him, and this that I get to kind of create. So it's beautiful. It's heartbreaking, but I think it's just very needed.
Adrian, I just want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing your hard work, your creative passions with us. We're very excited to continue to see what you have going on. One more time, just share quickly your Instagram so that people can, see this work that you're doing.
For real, that was powerful, bro. Yeah, definitely share.
Appreciate it, y'all. I really appreciate you guys having me here. Yeah, check me out on Instagram, ayy.bee. My Twitter is itsab. But yeah, just check me out. I really, really appreciate being able to tell my story and share my art with y'all. Much respect.
Brooklyn in that his aisle.
Take care, Adrian.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Yo, Cass, that was dope. Cass.
Yeah, I mean, when I scrolled by, I found him on Instagram, and I was like, wow, he needs to be able to, you know, speak on this because it was definitely like caught my attention and moved me.
I was almost thinking about crying.
Yeah, that was powerful because he's painting about, you know, unfinished artwork, which is their unfinished lives. So it's that connected with me.
Right.
But anyway,
right.
But anyway, my name is Terry Shropshire, aka the first King James, who took his talents to Atlanta instead of South Beach. And here's the report for the week. Okay, this is pathetic in so many different ways. Number one, this is an older white female lawyer who spits in the face. She stopped her car. She got out of the car. She found a crowd of people and she picked out this young 17-year-old teenager who was protesting in suburban Milwaukee. So then she called the cops saying that her life was in danger. Well, she got arrested, so-called arrested, but then she got arrested again because she assaulted another protester who was protesting outside of her house for spitting in the face of a black male teen. What makes this all really, really pathetic is that she's a lawyer and she's Jewish. And if anybody in this country knows anything about mass persecution and oppression, it should be the people who are the descendants of the Holocaust. She should be able to identify with what we are going through in this country because her people have experienced it in Europe and not just in Germany, but in Italy and other places as well. So this is pathetic all the way around. Moving on from her. Okay. Somebody left a pig's head on the police department. And so while we're trying to, I understand where it originated from. I think it started with the Black Power movement in the 1960s, but, basically calling, police officers pigs and leaving a pig's head, which is a threatening kind of a gesture out there on the lawn of the precinct is, just kind of an inflammatory way in which to engage the public and the police department. I don't know what good it serves, in my opinion. Maybe you guys have an opinion after my segment is over, but we'll move on and, maybe talk about this afterwards. Okay, hold on a second while I perform some CPR on Jesse Smollett's career. Wait a minute. I think I detect a small pulse. I detect a pulse. And basically what Smollett is doing is that he's trying to connect this protest of, with his particular situation, with the police brutality, with what Chicago has been doing. He's accusing the police department of lying on him. And he actually has a point. Because the police commissioner who was fired, his name is Eddie Johnson, he was fired, if you remember, back in December when he was found asleep at the wheel in the middle of the street, drunk and asleep. And so, and then he lied to the mayor about it, which led to his immediate termination. So he has a problem. And the Chicago Police Department is notorious for covering up scandal and just saying police brutality. So he does have a point. However, to connect that with his situation, that's a stretch. To traverse all the way over there to connect it with his situation is a little bit, that's stretching it, Jesse. But I see a pulse, so it is going on. But we will move on from you, Jesse. Good luck in the future. We're going to wonder if people like Trina or that person in the White House will call this man a thug or an animal. Probably not. What's happening is that this guy has been arrested for being one of the people who's helped stoke the fire of the police precinct in Minneapolis. So I will wait. I'm not going to hold my breath because I want to live to see how long it will take for people like Trina and her ilk and people like the person in the White House and his ilk to call them a thug or an animal because he actually helped set fire to the police department. And he is in great trouble because this is not just state charges. He's being charged on a federal level. So that is my report for this week. I am King James from Akron, Ohio, who took his talents to Atlanta instead of South Beach, and that is my report. Back to you guys.
Ooh.
And what city was the lady in?
Oh, that was in suburban Milwaukee. It was just outside of Milwaukee, where she spat on the teenager. There was a crowd of people. It was a cosmopolitan crowd, and she weaved her way and stopped her car to stop the march, got out and found a young boy who was about her size. He was only 17 years old, and she spat in his face. And then afterwards, she wanted to call the police because she said she was in danger. And what the problem with this white woman is that she is a woman of prestige in her community. She's a lawyer and she's Jewish. And that makes it all the more repugnant and reprehensible, highly objectionable that you would spit in their face knowing what you and your people have been subjected to, or, you know what I'm saying, for, I don't know, in the Holocaust. So I just can understand why she would do that.
Well, we're going to leave on positive. Positive thoughts of the day. So we're going to let you lead off, Cassie.
Well, quickly, Dee Turner, she commented that she was, let's see, she said, "Good morning. I recently started watching. I'm a senior citizen. It is wonderful to hear all the different views. It's beautiful to see all the young people with their gifted talents. It makes a mother, grandmother, and great grandmother proud. Thank you, Dee, for watching. We really appreciate that comment. And we hope that you will continue to, join us in the morning." My positive thought of the day is act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. And I think this is something that we've been seeing. Every time you say something, it impacts someone. So just be very careful with, your words and your actions at this time.
Whoever you choose, Cassie.
Oh my gosh, you guys always do this to me. Okay, Terry.
Yes, whatever talents that you have, and you may think they are significant, you need to get out of that situation. Whatever that makes you happy, whatever makes your inner light shine, whatever that you're obsessed with, that is your talent, and that is what God gave you as your gift to humanity. Use it, maximize it, pursue it, especially today, still being locked up, still being locked down in the middle of a pandemic. Explore that talent that has been hidden inside of you and maximize and use it to its maximum potential. That is my positive word of the day. Oh, Romeo, you're next. My bad. That was a good transition, wasn't it? Oh, Romeo.
Hey, my positive thought of the day is vote, 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 vote. I want everybody to go right now and follow @rollingout on Instagram, because I'm going to go live with y'all and y'all going to go with me to vote. And I want y'all to vote. So that's my positive. Mr. Steve.
Thank you, Romeo. And for everybody, 6 p.m. Health IQ. Going to talk facts versus fiction. So that's going to be great. And then after that, we've got the Rolling Out News Report, which comes on from 7 to 9 with me and King James, Terry Shropshire. Want to thank everybody that was great, Cass. Did a great, phenomenal job. It was great to have a comedian, Romeo. I think it really moved the culture forward in showing how young people are utilizing their talents to illustrate the pain, the suffering, and all those who've come before us. And obviously to see Virginia Fields, for her just sharing her insight on how all millennials can get involved, be present, and be sure you count and want to be counted. So for all of you out there, we really appreciate you checking in to Rolling Out the Wake Up Call. And my positive thought of the day is, you don't have to be in the streets, but you do have to be in this movement. Boom, Rolling Out. 8 a.m., the Wake Up Call. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Peace.
Have a good day. Make sure you guys go vote.
And be safe.